So I worked on all sorts of missions. One of my big ones was rocket thrusters. That was really cool. And solar panels. I did a lot of solar panels. So the solar panels that we use, they're all now up in space, and you can see them every now and then because they do all the European GPS. That's quite cool.
Hey, podcast lovers, welcome back to Feed Drops, the podcast about podcasts. That was a clip from today's episode. I'm your host, Brian Colburn, and today we are spotlighting a show that's full of heart, resilience, and beautiful ink strokes. We're diving into an episode of Creativity Found, a podcast that shares the stories of people who've discovered or rediscovered their creative spark later in life. The episode we're looking at today features Florrie, a former satellite engineer who swapped rocket science for the elegant world of calligraphy and letterpress printing. Yep, that one's got it all. Neurology, nostalgia, and one very heavy vintage printing press. In this episode, host Claire sits down with Florrie to unpack a life-changing journey. After a successful career in mechanical engineering, including testing satellites for space missions, Florrie was faced with a neurological condition that forced her to change course. What followed was a 2-year recovery process that led to watercolor painting, calligraphy, and eventually the bold step of starting her own bespoke stationery business. Now, Florrie creates custom wedding materials and volunteers with Make-A-Wish Foundation, putting her artistry to work in ways that serve both joy and meaning. And somewhere in the middle of all that, she found her tribe among crazy letterpress fans and a 1.25-ton press named Penelope. Let's break this one down with our Feed Drops rating system. Audio quality, 8.5. Clean and listenable, the voice recording is clear with minimal background noise, though there's room for subtle upgrades in presence and warmth. Occasionally, room tone or mic differences were present, but not distracting. Clarity, 9.0. Both Claire and Florrie speak articulately and confidently. Ideas are easy to follow, and there's no numbing or rushed speech. Content quality, 9.5. The story arc is strong, relevant, and emotionally resonant. Florrie's personal journey is unique, inspiring, and layered with insights. This is a textbook example of a well-selected guest delivering value. Pacing, 8.0. Some moments lingered slightly too long, particularly in transitions between story beats. Still, the episode kept interest throughout with minimal lag. Tone and delivery, 8.5. Claire's delivery is warm, approachable, and curious, perfectly suited to the show's mission. Occasionally, a touch more energy could enhance the emotional dynamics. Editing and post-production, 8.0. Solid edits and good flow. However, there are a few noticeable transitions where tighter edits or some fades could improve polish. No major hiccups, though. Sound design, 7.0. Opportunity for touches that could elevate emotional beats. Engagement and entertainment, 9.0. This is a compelling story with real emotional stakes and unique elements. Letterpress, Make-A-Wish, engineering to artistry shift. Strong narrative pulls the listener in. Host and guest dynamics, 9.5. This is a highlight of the episode. Claire listens actively, asks great follow-up questions, and gives Florrie space to shine. The chemistry is sincere and enjoyable. Audience appropriateness, 10.0. The show delivers 100% on its promise. Stories of rediscovering creativity in adulthood. It's authentic, inspiring, and perfectly suited for its intended listener base. Average score, 8.7. That's a strong episode with meaningful content, great delivery, and real listener value. I really love this one. Claire brings a kind, open energy to her interviews, and Florrie's stories has depth. It's not just look at this cool job change. It's about identity, reinvention, and how creativity can be healing. One thing I appreciated was the subtle overlap between her engineering background and her art. The precision, the logic, the craftsmanship. And the vibe? It's like sitting down with a friend and realizing they've quietly lived 100 lives. If I had one wish, a little more sound design, even light music cues could elevate those emotional beats just a touch. This episode is perfect for anyone craving a creative reboot, listeners facing career transitions, artists, designers, and craft enthusiasts, or just folks who love a great comeback story. It's inspiring without being cheesy and grounded in real-life grit and growth. So if you're looking for a new listen that reminds you it's never too late to get creative, check out Creativity Found. You can find the episode on all major platforms. I'll drop a link in the show notes. And if you love what we do here on Feed Drops, rating and reviewing podcasts to spotlight great audio storytelling, be sure to follow us, leave a review, and share the show with a friend. It makes a huge difference. That's it for today's drop. Big shout out to Claire for bringing us stories that matter, and to Florrie for showing us how creativity can be a new beginning, not just a hobby. Catch you in the next episode, and until then, keep your ears open, your stories honest, and your creativity flowing.